4 trainees stood in a practice room, sweating through a song that wasn't theirs, until it became theirs. They fought, they laughed, they stumbled. And by the end, they weren't just covering someone else's dream. They were becoming SNWB. Ray Idle Pulse, Ryan Warm Pulse, Kian Edge Pulse, Shun Pure Pulse. 4 boys, 1 name, 1 song. And now, the spotlight is coming. The cameras are ready, the teasers are rolling, and the world is about to see them for the very first time. But fame isn't simple. When the light shines on one, it casts shadows on the others. When rivals step forward, competition turns sharper. And for Ray, the stage will give him everything he's wanted, but maybe cost him more than he knows. This is We Are SNWB Episode 2. The Spotlight.
SNWB!
The studio was no longer just a set. With the lights blazing and the track pulsing, it became their stage. The choreographer clapped sharply. Positions, again from the top. The music hit, and the boys fell into line. Their sneakers thudded against the taped markers on the floor, arms slicing the air in perfect sync. At least almost perfect. Kian, more to the left. The voice cut through the beat like a whip. Kian's smirk faltered. His jaw tightened, and he threw himself into the next move sharper, harder, as though daring the mirrors to catch a mistake. Sweat flew from his hair with every turn. He hated being called out. Ray, center as always, didn't break. His grin only widened, feeding off the spotlight as he spun into the chorus. Every move was big, magnetic, demanding to be noticed. Idle pulse, flawless, even when messy. Ryan kept the line steady, his timing precise. He didn't chase attention. He anchored it. When Ray's step leaned too far forward, Ryan shifted a fraction back, grounding the frame so the formation held. Warm pulse, the quiet balance. Shun, cheeks flushed, stumbled half a beat late. His eyes flicked nervously toward Kian, then the choreographer, then back to the mirror. But he caught himself, clapping softly on the offbeat, laughing as if to shake off the nerves. And when the chorus hit again, he landed his move with surprising clarity, innocence cutting through the tension. Good again! The choreographer barked. The track restarted. They moved, reset, moved again. Over and over, until the sweat on the floor blurred into the lights above. Every gesture was checked, corrected, sharpened. Ray, bigger arms! Ryan, watch your line. Kian, I said left. The repetition wore on them, but it also bound them. By the 10th take, their breaths matched. Their sneakers squeaked in rhythm. Their shadows in the mirror looked less like 4 separate boys and more like one moving body. But inside the formation, tension simmered. Ray's charisma pulled everything toward him. Kian bristled with every correction, pushing harder, faster, like the dance floor was a battlefield. Shun tried to follow Kian's lead, clinging to his pace, while Ryan's steady gaze kept the group from collapsing into chaos. The cameras rolled. The flashes popped. And even through the sweat, the exhaustion, the barks of the choreographer, the truth was undeniable. They didn't just look like trainees anymore. They looked like idols. The music faded, and the choreographer wiped his brow with the edge of his sleeve. He leaned toward the producer, voice lowered but not enough to be hidden. They've got it. Formation's tighter than last week. Even Kian's cleaning his lines. The producer didn't look up from his phone, but his tone was clipped, satisfied. Good. They need to be ready sooner than expected. The film director, adjusting the lens on his shoulder rig, gave a small nod. Ray's pulling center well. Camera loves him. The others balance it out, looks like a group now. Ray froze mid-sip from his water bottle, ears catching the words, though the rest blurred. His lips curled into a grin, wider than before. The kind that wasn't for the mirror this time, but for himself. Across the room, Kian noticed. His eyes narrowed. And the beat restarted.
SNWB!
The practice room was gone. In its place, the company's main conference hall, screens lining the wall, staff crowded shoulder to shoulder, the buzz of caffeine and deadlines thick in the air. On the largest screen, their teaser played. White flashes, metallic logo. 4 silhouettes in sharp poses, Ray front and center, silver hair catching the strobe. Ryan angled back, steady as a shadow. Kian off to the side, smirk cutting through the darkness. Shun softened at the rear, innocent eyes made brighter by the stark contrast. The teaser ended with the single word. SNWB, See New World breathe. The room erupted, staff murmured, phones buzzed. Comments flew already from the live upload. Who's the silver-haired one? McNay looks adorable, rap line already iconic. Ray leaned back in his chair, smirk tugging at his lips. He didn't need to check his phone to know the comments would stick to him. Silver hair, center, spotlight. Shun, sitting at the far end, fumbled with his phone anyway. His cheeks lit pink as he whispered, "Hyung, they're saying I'm cute." Ray chuckled, ruffling his hair without looking. "Of course they are, McNay, that's your job." Kian scrolled furiously, jaw tight. His eyes darted at the screen every time Ray's name or face flashed in the chatter. "Center doesn't last forever," he muttered under his breath, tapping the phone so hard the stylus rattled against the case. Ryan said nothing. He simply folded his arms and kept his gaze steady on the screen, absorbing, not reacting. The producer clapped once, silencing the room. "Teaser's live. Comments are strong, we ride this wave hard. Music video shoot next week." The screen replayed, flashing Ray's grin again, the spotlight unmissable. And Kian's fists clenched tighter in his lap.
SNWB!
The dorm lights were dim, the hum of the fridge carrying faintly down the hall. Behind one half-shut door, Ray and Ryan's room glowed soft from a desk lamp. Ray sprawled across his bed, hair still styled from the shoot, his phone in his hand but his voice chasing Ryan instead. "You heard them, right?" His grin was smug, even against the ceiling. "Director, producer, they said it was good." "That was about me." Ryan sat straighter at his desk, folding clothes one by one, tone even. "I heard them say the group looked good." "That's what matters." Ray rolled onto his side, lips quirking. Sure. But you know someone has to stand out, that's me." Ryan finally glanced over, eyes steady, not unkind. "If you shine, good. Just make sure it's a light the rest of us can stand in too." Ray chuckled under his breath, but the sound softened, less a laugh, more the weight of unspoken things. Across the hall, Shun's voice carried through the thin walls, muffled by fabric. "Kian Hyung, you look ridiculous!" Inside their room, both boys sat cross-legged on the lower bunk, glossy facial masks plastered across their faces. Empty packets were scattered like confetti on the blanket. Shun giggled as he tugged at the corner of his own mask, his wide eyes crinkling with amusement. Kian shot him a look, sharp even under the sheet of serum. "Shut up, this is good for the skin." He tapped his cheek with 2 fingers, smirking. "Fans like flawless." Shun giggled again, muffling the sound in his hands. The playfulness filled the small room until his phone buzzed. He glanced at it casually, then froze. His eyes widened, breath catching in his throat. "Kian Hyung, look at this!" Dark silhouettes lined up across the teaser image. "OBSIDIAN." As they stared, a new line of text faded in beneath the name. "Debut. 2 weeks." Shun's voice cracked. 2 weeks. That's 1 week before us." His hand shook slightly as he held the phone out, mask slipping at the edges. His voice was smaller now. They look strong, don't they?" Kian leaned closer, narrowing his eyes at the faceless figures. For a moment, his jaw tightened, then the smirk returned, cocky and unbothered. He snatched the phone, looked once more, then tossed it back onto Shun's lap. "Please, they're hiding in shadows for a reason. Dramatic names, dark filters, it's all for show. Doesn't mean they'll win." Shun clutched the phone, shoulders still tense. "But everyone's already talking about them." Kian stretched out across the bed, peeling the mask from his face and flicking it toward the trash. His voice was casual, but the edge lingered. "Relax, McNay. Stay on your side of the bed tonight." Shun blinked, caught off guard. The words stung more than he wanted to admit. He forced a laugh, tugging his blanket closer. "What, yeah, of course." But when the lamp clicked off and the room sank into dark, his blush lingered. Deeper than the mask's warmth, heavier than he understood. Under his pillow, the phone screen glowed a moment longer, silver letters burning into the dark.
SNWB!
The weeks blurred into noise. OBSIDIAN's debut came first. Dark tones, black leather, silver chains. Their song crashed like thunder, sleek and polished, the crowd chanting their name as headlines scrolled past. Powerful rookies stormed the scene. The next global idols? Ray scrolled on his phone late that night, one elbow propped on his pillow. He froze when he saw a familiar face in Obsidian's lineup. The hair was different, the stare colder, but Ray knew. A friend from high school. He locked the screen before anyone could notice, but the thought stayed, pressing like a drumbeat in his chest.
SNWB!
Now it was here. SNWB's final music video shooting. Cameras rolled on tracks. For months, they'd drilled choreography in practice rooms. This time, the red tally lights were real. Every mistake could follow them forever. Positions! The director barked. The track hit, and they moved. Ray snapped to center, silver hair catching even the dull lights. He grinned into the nearest lens, instinctive, magnetic. The cameraman muttered under his breath, natural. Ryan steadied the frame, adjusting Shun's step with a subtle tug while his own lines stayed clear. His voice over the mic check was steady, even here. Kian leaned into the crane camera, smirk sharp, rap break raw but alive. Shun stumbled on his first entrance, wide eyes locking on the blinking red light. His breath hitched, until Ryan's harmony cut through the monitor, steadying him. Shun caught the line, sang clear, and staff watching at the side smiled despite themselves. The first run ended. Again, adjust your angle. Fix the bridge timing. They reset. By the fifth take, lungs burned, shirts stuck to skin. But with every reset, the angles sharpened, the frames clicked. It wasn't just practice anymore, their music video was taking shape.
SNWB!
Then came the wait for their official debut stage. Shun curled in his seat, mouthing lyrics, but his eyes darted toward the door every time staff hurried past. At one point, his voice cracked. What if my mic cuts out? Ryan checked the pack quietly, for the third time, steady hands calming more than wires. Kian sprawled wide, legs bouncing with pent-up fire. His smirk was still there, but his jaw flexed whenever the roar of another fan chant rattled the walls. Ray looked focused, but a flicker of unease traced his face. His phone lit up every few minutes, scrolling comments, teaser reactions, already imagining tomorrow's headlines. When Shun whispered about nerves, Ray cracked one eye open. They won't bite, Macnay. Just look into the lens and smile. The camera always loves the honest ones. Ryan sat straighter than the rest, humming the chorus under his breath. When the silence stretched too long, he drummed fingertips on the table, pulling them back into rhythm without a word. Hours crawled by, until finally, SNWB, stand by. They stood. Shun tugged his sleeves. Kian cracked his knuckles. Ray rolled his shoulders. Ryan's gaze scanned them all once, steady. The waiting was over. The lights dropped. The intro thundered and SNWB burst onto their moves. Ray's charisma hit first, silver hair blazing under the spotlights, grin sharp, movements magnetic. Ryan's voice cut through the hall, rich and emotional, filling the air with warmth polish could never buy. Kian attacked his rap break, reckless, raw, fire spilling past every imperfect beat. And Shun, cheeks flushed, eyes wide. When his high sub-vocal soared, the crowd screamed so loud he flinched, then grinned through it. It wasn't flawless. Steps lagged, breath wavered. But the rookie energy hit like lightning, raw, unfiltered, unforgettable. Staff behind the monitors exchanged glances, some even clapping under their breath. The boys froze in their final pose, lungs burning, vision blurred by sweat and light. Then the sound crashed in. The roar of fans, louder than they'd ever imagined, swallowed every flaw and every doubt. Their first stage was over, but their hearts were still racing, alive in the echo of that cheer.
SNWB!
Back in the van, screens glowed blue against their tired faces. Numbers jumped every time they refreshed their music video, climbing faster than their hearts could keep up. Comments poured in. These boys feel real. Not just another idol group. SNWB is different. Ray leaned his forehead against the cool window, sweat drying from their first debut stage, grin spreading. The world was finally seeing them. His phone buzzed, a new message from an unknown number. Congrats, I saw the music video. No name. Just a black square for the profile. Ray stared at it, heartbeat thudding faster than the road beneath the tires. Outside, another showcase hall loomed closer, voices already gathering at the gate. The showcase wasn't just another stage. It was the rookie spotlight where every group was measured, every mistake replayed, every spark of charisma judged by the entire industry. Careers could tilt in one night. In the waiting room, the producer's phone buzzed nonstop. Sponsors, executives, press. His lips curved in the faintest smile, eyes glittering as he glanced at the boys. This is it, Prestige Showcase. The industry's watching, OBSIDIAN, SNWB, 2 rookies, same night. The world wants a showdown, so give them one. The hallway was chaos. Stylists darted between boys, spraying hair, wadding sweat, tugging at cuffs. Staff shouted time cues over the noise. For the first time, OBSIDIAN and SNWB shared the same space. 2 groups in opposite corners. Glances sharp, silence louder than words. The producer leaned close to SNWB, voice low and firm. Don't think debut was the finish line. Think of it as the start. Win this stage and the world takes you seriously. Ray's eyes slid past him. In the rival lineup, just for a second, the face appeared again. His friend in the rival group. This time their eyes met. OBSIDIAN, to the stage. The stage manager barked. SNWB, you're up next. The boys gathered tight. 4 hands stacked in the center, sweat slick against skin. Ray's voice cut through the din, sharp and sure. Who are we? SNWB! OBSIDIAN had already struck the stage. 5 silhouettes in black, their lines sharp as blades, their presence heavy as thunderclouds. Black leather caught the strobes, silver chains flashing as they moved in flawless sync. Every angle snapped clean, every turn precise, the kind of polish that looked unshakable. When the chorus dropped, the hall erupted. Chants of their name thundered like a storm, the crowd swept up in their dominance. Their voices and rap lines hit with power, their dance-cutting arcs larger than the stage itself. By the time the lights dimmed, the air was still crackling. OBSIDIAN didn't just perform, they owned the stage. Then the beat dropped for SNWB. Ray exploded into center, silver hair catching every light, every grin a magnet that pulled the crowd in closer. His movements weren't polished. They were electric, reckless, alive. Ryan's voice rose above it all, rich and full, weaving warmth into the cracks. Even when the choreography wavered, his tone anchored the moment, giving the performance a center no spotlight could shake. Kian attacked his rap like a weapon, jagged edges cutting straight through the noise. He wasn't flawless, but his raw fire spilled over the beat, drawing eyes even when his timing slipped. And Shun, bright, unguarded, lifted the sub-vocal higher than he ever had in rehearsal. For a second he faltered, but then the fans screamed back, chanting louder than the monitors, their voices crashing like a wave. The sound jolted through his chest, a heartbeat he couldn't ignore. He grinned wide, fed by their energy, his voice suddenly clearer, stronger. It wasn't perfect. Their steps lagged, lungs burned, timing frayed. But the roar of the crowd fused with their rookie fire, making every stumble feel like part of the spark. The fans didn't want perfection, they wanted the pulse. And SNWB gave it to them, raw and unfiltered. By the final chorus, the hall was shaking. The chants weren't just background, they were fuel, every SNWB, making the boys push harder, shine brighter, burn hotter. When the last note rang out, the 4 froze in formation, sweat dripping, hearts pounding in rhythm with the crowd. The lights blazed brighter than before, and in that instant, their dreams felt real, echoing back in the sound of the fans who believed in them. SNWB! The roar of the crowd still clung to their skin as SNWB filed down the narrow backstage corridor, breaths ragged, sweat cooling too quickly under the harsh fluorescence. The echo of fan chants still pounded in their ears, louder than their own footsteps. At the far end of the hall, OBSIDIAN appeared. Sharp black suits, shoulders squared, their storm still radiating off them, as if the stage had followed them back here. Every step they took was measured, polished, a quiet reminder of the precision they had just unleashed. Ray's gaze slid across them one by one, the sharp lines, the calm confidence, the aura of rivals already marked. And then his eyes caught on a single figure. For a breath, the noise in his chest shifted. The world seemed to narrow, the hall shrinking until only that figure stood there. Their eyes met, and then a smile, not mocking, not cold. A smile that said, "I see you." Ray's stride faltered for half a beat before Ryan's steady shoulder brushed his, pulling him forward. SNWB passed Obsidian in silence, but the weight of that glance followed like a shadow. The stage had ended, but the battle had just begun. The battle stage was over, but the noise hadn't faded. Both groups were ushered down the same corridor, cameras already waiting at a press wall. SNWB and Obsidian, please stand by for a short interview. The lights were harsher up close, mics shoved forward. The first question went to Ray. Predictable, center spotlight. He answered smooth, practiced, his grin camera-ready. But when the host asked about teamwork, Ray glanced sideways. Maybe our rapper should take this one. He pressed the mic into Kian's hand before anyone could object. For a heartbeat, Kian froze, then the fire snapped back. His smirk curved sharp, words playful but confident as he leaned toward the mic. The small crowd of reporters laughed, flashes popping. For the first time, the cheer wasn't for Ray, it was for him. Moments later, the groups were released. Outside, the night air broke loud with fans waiting behind barricades. Ray stepped out first. His silver hair caught the spotlights, grin flashing as he raised a sharp salute. The screams doubled instantly, a wall of sound crashing against the vans. Cameras flared, phones lifted, the moment stamped into memory before he'd even lowered his hand. Kian climbed out next, smirk half-formed. I was gonna do that, he muttered, but the roar had already moved past him. Inside the van, screens lit up within minutes. The salute photo was everywhere, clipped, captioned with one word. Iconic. Shun giggled, holding up his phone. Hyung, you're already a meme. Ray only leaned back, satisfied, eyes half closed. Told you, center never lies. The van rolled on into the night, their name climbing faster than the wheels could carry them. SNWB! That night, the salute picture went viral. Fans tagged it endlessly. Ray's salute, iconic. In the dorm bathroom, long after lights out, Kian stood alone in the mirror. He tried to move once, awkward, again, sharper, again, with a smirk. The sound of his own hand snapping against his temple echoed in the tile. Across the hall, a faint hum bled through the walls. Ryan sat alone in the company's recording booth, glass door closed, headphones snug, mic light glowing red. His voice was low, steady, weaving through a melody no one else had heard yet. In the main practice room, Ray hadn't called it a night. Shun sat cross-legged on the floor, then Ray's phone buzzed, a single vibration. He frowned, swiping it open without thinking. A new message, from an unknown number. Good stage today. You shine brighter up close. The profile picture was nothing but a black square, but the name was there. Short, simple. Jim. Ray froze. He looked at the screen again, heartbeat kicking harder than any dance beat. The rival group, Obsidian. And one of them had just reached out. Shun blinked up at him, curious. Hyung? What is it? Ray locked the screen, slipping the phone into his pocket, smile flashing too quickly. Nothing, he lied. But his eyes stayed on the mirror, not his reflection this time. Somewhere out there, another reflection was waiting. And the game had just changed. SNWB! They stepped into the spotlight, their names shouted louder than they ever dreamed. But every light cast shadows. Fame can lift you high and pull you apart. For Ray, the stage gave him everything he wanted. Attention, applause, a fire that burned just for him. Yet in the crowd, and across the stage, another gaze followed. A rival, a reflection, a spark he couldn't ignore. The battle for tomorrow had begun, and with it, something more dangerous than rivalry. Both debut tracks are out now. Obsidian's Storms Coming and SNWB's Spotlight. Listen to the official music through the link in the description. You've been listening to We Are SNWB Episode 2 The Spotlight. From the practice room to the stage, from cheers to rivalry, this is only the beginning. Follow the story, subscribe, and don't miss what comes next. As Ray, Ryan, Kian, and Shun chase not just fame, but something far more dangerous. We are SNWB.